Thanks, Chris. 7:17 right now. Studies show that 155 million Americans play video games, and some of those video games are made right here in Central PA. Fox 43's Drew Anderson is trying some interactive gaming this morning at Harrisburg University. Hey, Drew.
Hey, we're not kidding about that interactive gaming, because this right here you can jump into. I feel like I'm in a James Bond movie this morning. What's fascinating here at Harrisburg University is they bring in people that are professionals from the gaming industry to teach the students, and we have just one of those professionals right here. It is Lisa, the game designer in residence. And Lisa, you've made video games. Tell me about that.
Well, I've been in the industry for about 7 years now. I used to work in AAA games at Insomniac Games, making big console titles. Last year, I went indie, so I started making really small personal games and working on an indie team for a game that just released called Hyper Light Drifter.
When you say the big console titles, are we talking things like, well, I got to be honest with you, last game console I have is an N64, like something on that magnitude?
Yeah, so I used to develop games that were on the PS3 and the Xbox One, so those tend to be bigger teams of like 100 people maybe, which is actually considered small in AAA, but that's a big difference than what I was doing last year, which is teams of 5, teams of 3.
100 is considered small. Yes. Tell me the big difference to you just working on something that's a huge game versus something that's a little bit smaller.
Mostly it's just scope and who you're working with. On a big game, you're on teams with a bunch of other designers, artists, programmers. Everyone's working on their own part, and so there's a lot of communication that happens. When you're working on a very small team with like just 3 people, it's really easy to keep in touch the whole time, and everyone's super invested in the project.
So I'm eyeing this up right here. I see this virtual reality sort of goggle set. I'm going to put this on because you're working on a virtual reality game right now. Is that true?
It's true. I'm working on a game for the Vive, which is one of the new consumer console VR sets. It's the one made by Valve.
And what's fascinating is I understand this technology has really grown. Right now I'm looking at the Eiffel Tower. I almost can feel like I reach out and get it. And you were telling me you made a game where you could just use your eyeballs to actually move things around. Is that true?
I did. I made a game for the Tobii IX eye tracker, which is just a little eye tracker that sticks on your computer, and it tracks the gaze of your eyes. So I made a game where you were basically playing the whole game with your eyes.
I gotta tell you, Lisa, you got such a cool job. This is so cool. And what's interesting is if you got a high schooler interested in games, they can come down to Harrisburg University for a summer camp. Let's see here. It's the end of June, and in July, you'll be one of the instructors along with many others, and they can make games at the summer camp, right?
Yes, they'll work on teams to make their own game for the camp.
How cool is that? You could actually not only go in this, but make your own game. That is the latest live in Harrisburg University, or should I say live in Paris. Let me walk toward that Eiffel Tower. I'm Drew Anderson on Fox 43.